guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the first episode of our About to Wed series. I'm super excited about this series. I have just concluded the sexual health and fertility and everything around it series. If you haven't watched them, watch the prior 5 videos ahead of this one to catch up. So we're starting a new series called the About to Wed series. I've done 1 or 2 videos around what a gentleman should take note of, right? Just before getting married, even just before choosing the girl who becomes his bride. If you haven't watched them, please check out here. I'm gonna link up here those videos I've done in the past, so you can watch them after now to also catch up, because I'm going straight forward to let you know how to have a stress-free wedding day. How do you want to get to the wedding day without ruffles, without arguments, without resentment, just happy-go-lucky and everything moving smoothly? That's what this video is about. And I'm actually going to give you 10 among all the tips that are available. Okay, we can do a part 2 later on, and even as this channel grows, I'm going to bring this series again, in-depth format. But for now, I'm happy to be starting off this series amazingly here for you. Now, this is for those that have been feeling left out, like, okay, she keeps giving us content about people who are single. Okay, what are people who are single but about to get married? Because this channel also caters to you, and as well as those who even are married, right? So let's go straight into what this is about. I know that being able to get there when you have checked all your husband material nest and it's clocking 100, okay, and you are everything on point, you've chosen your girl, you are excited about stepping into this new phase of your life, but planning for the actual wedding can be so daunting. It can feel like, oh my god, somebody getting me out of here. It can feel like, somebody get me out of here, let me just close my eyes and wake up in the morning and everything is done. I know. And that's why we're talking about these things, okay? Because there are a lot of things to consider, from your in-laws to your bride, to what you want, to your guys, and everything in between. And why this is also important is sometimes we make the mistake to think that, oh, a wedding day is majorly for the bride. Oh no. So among these tips, I'm also going to tell you some things not to make a mistake with, whether it's in your thoughts or in your actions, okay? That will make you just have the love of your life and have a beautiful memorial day, wedding day that will keep the two of you bonded through life. Now, wedding days can be influenced by who you are, your budget, who your bride is, how much interference or support from families and all that. So no 2 weddings are the same. I say that all the time. No 2 weddings are the same. Even somebody even having been talking to wedding planners and stuff, they will also tell you, no 2 brides are the same. So no weddings can be the same. Even if you guys have the same decor and everything, there must be something different, because you're totally different. Your personalities will also come into play. Okay, so let me start with the first thing I think you need to pay keen attention to if you want to have a drama-free wedding day. Very important. And remember, somehow as a groom, you're supposed to be in the church ahead of the bride. Okay, so you're supposed to receive your bride at the altar, which is how it is done traditionally. And this also can apply to even the Nigerian or African traditional wedding. So even those who are not going to do the traditional long wedding gown, white wedding gown kind of thing, is okay, cool. But these are also the things that can be used both ways. Now, the first thing I think is so important is to, first of all, itemize everything that needs to be done and assign roles to who manages what. This is so important. Now, let me tell you, because if you don't take time to, first of all, itemize everything that needs to be done with your bride, with your family, you might be taken unaware that so many times and pulled in different directions just at when it's almost the nick of time, and you don't want that. You want to be looking dapper, dandy, make sure your cut sits on well with you because you're not stressed. So another very quick tip around this, speaking to a wedding planner in my research, I found out that you should not just make your plans and say, okay, so this person is handling this person is handling this, so they do this, I do that. No, also make sure you assign yourself the higher responsibility. So even if it's giving this person a task, as a 50% and you handle the 50%, make yours like a 51, 52%, and so that you have some contingency to manage when the person drops the ball at any point. You know what I mean? And that is so key. So So in doing this, you're able to nail, everybody knows who has a final say in every particular thing that needs to be handled, and everybody can take responsibility early. Okay, and if there are fallouts, it can be handled also earlier. So number 2 thing that you should never forget if you want to have a stress-free wedding day is to remember that your wedding day is your wedding day. Yes, let me put it like that, because a lot of guys sadly think that it's the girl, it's about the bride, it's about the women. No, it's yours too. And let me tell you, that stuff, that's kind of indifferent or apathy towards wedding day, making it look like it's for the girl. We really don't like it. Mostly ladies, really don't like it. Most ladies wish their men were more excited, more into the ceremony like they are as well, because it's a memory about 2 people coming together as one. And yes, it's your day. And because it's your day, and you're going to have to speak up on the things that you want, how you want it done, what you prefer. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let it just go like, oh, I don't want to be so fussy. Let her plan it all. We don't like that. Ladies don't like that. Trust me. Don't make it look like it's just for her. You're doing it for her. No way. She'll want you to be happy and smile genuinely on your wedding day just as much as she is happy. Okay? So don't make her have a little bit of resentment or a little bit of unease because she feels like you made it look like it's just about her or she's forcing you to get married to her. You know what I mean? Remember, there's so much joy already that she said yes. So make sure that you carry that same, we are in this together attitude until the wedding day. Very important. Number 3, this one can be crazy because it has to do with money. Don't allow yourself to become outraged because of cost and all that, right? Don't make sure you tell yourself ahead of time, I'm going to manage my emotions. So where I need to get angry, I switch up and I say, okay, what can we do about it instead? I negotiate some more. I give suggestions about what alternative there are, because trust me, planning and costing can spin out of control, and you don't want all of that bad blood already between you and your bride. It's just a ceremony, it's not your marriage. So don't let a common ceremony come between you guys and the issue of money. You must be able to show money who is boss. Yes, money is only your servant you're sending on errand to make things good for you. Don't let money control your emotion. So even when the tantrums come, when it looks like, oh, I want this, I want that, we just have to be done, extra cost on this, make sure you learn to calm down, switch up, be positive, negotiate. You need to have negotiation skills on point, okay? Without having to be overbearing. Give your suggestions, get involved, and don't make it look like, oh, I'm out of here if it's not going my way, I can't afford that and that's it. No, don't do that. Okay, there's always an alternative to something. There's always a better way or a more affordable way to get something done. So be involved with your bride and go all the way and look for alternatives where you need to, negotiate where you need to, do away with some things if you need to, but make sure that in all you're agreeing and you're not in any way perturbed or outraged because of cost, because wedding day will come and go and the marriage begins, and that's where the real game is. That's where the real ish is, and it should be fun. Marriage is fun. So don't let the wedding day make the beginning of the marriage kind of uneasy or make you get into debt, which is another thing I see a lot. Don't keep quiet and things are being planned and you just let it be, and then at the end of the day, bills are on you. So when you're supposed to be enjoying honeymoon, you're bothered with costs, offsetting costs, and being interrogated by people, by vendors. You don't want that to happen. Make sure that you are also able to manage, all the emotions and everybody involved to a place where you two have agreed that your budget can get to. Right? This is so important because I see a lot of people who have gotten wedded and the marriage itself packed up because of the aftermath of cost for this wedding, and that shouldn't be you. Okay, the 4th thing to pay attention to is to make sure that you have a budget, a contingency fund actually for your wedding. This is so important because things are going to spiral out of control. In fact, immediately you say, oh, how much is bridal hair? Immediately there is bridal mention, the price is going to be higher. Immediately you say, I want a venue for a wedding reception, the price is going to double or triple. Immediately you say, I want to make my nails for my bride, for my wedding day, they're not going to charge you like every regular person. So what you should do is to lie low. Don't mention weddings yet. You and your bride should go already find out cost for certain things, so that way you're already in the know. Contact vendors without mentioning what event or whatever you want to do. Finding cost for them doing stuff for decor, for catering, for food, for drinks, for the clothing and all. Don't sound wedding. Don't tell anybody about wedding. Just, and this is a very helpful tip if you ask me. Don't come up with, oh, we want to find out, we're planning for our wedding. Just go to find out costs generally in different places. Don't go to a particular place and try to use all their services at once. Check around, so that way you can have an idea of price for each of the items. Then you can add a contingency of about 10 or 15% on top, which I think is a professional thing to do, on top of each of those cost, so you can have a budget idea and then decide whether it's something you can afford. You know what I mean? It's just a smart thing to do, so that way if the prices drop lower than the cost, you save some money. If it goes so high, you know how much you can't accommodate more than, okay? And then you know the things not to bother with at all. This is very important, very, very important. It saves you all the headache so that you can manage your emotions, like I said in the previous point. Now, there's a UK idea that an average wedding, ceremonial society wedding, costs as much as like an average worker's annual salary. That's what it takes to like plan and execute like a portable wedding. So if you want to spend all your annual income on a day's event, you think about it. So it's something you have to decide, plan for, have a budget for. Don't let things just come at you, and please stay out of debt if you're planning for your wedding. Okay, number 5. This next one is very, very important, and that's because it has to do with your parents. Okay, so if your parents are still alive, still involved, and are even ready to maybe sponsor certain things, please let them. Okay, don't just plan your thing and just give them only information. No, you will cause a scenario where they are trying to poke into everything you're doing, trying to find out. Allow them to handle whatever it is that they are going to decide to do. That doesn't stop your own plans, right? And assign them 1 or 2 duties, whatever it is, even if it's writing the program, producing the program, souvenirs, whatever. That way they are busy planning for your wedding as well as you, so that they also give you space and focus on the part that they need to handle and you are going to handle. And don't come up with all of that, oh, don't disturb me, and don't come to that, oh, we are doing this, we're handling it, don't worry about us, this is my thing, it goes my way. No, remember, this is actually even the first time that you're being on a test. Life is testing you to know whether you are understanding that you're getting into a we now situation rather than an I situation. Right? Because from now on, you're going to be thinking of your family, her family, she, and every other thing where you're making decisions, right? So transitioning from an I single person, which is what every one of us at default, that's how we came from nature, to a place where you're taking responsibility for other people is very important. So let your family be involved as much as they want, and that doesn't stop your plan. That way they give you the chance to do what you have to do, and you focus on your own plans with your bride. Very important. I mean, you should be lucky that you have a family that really, really, really want to go all out there to make a special day special. Okay, savor it. You have only this time to savor it, remember? Yeah. The next thing I think you should really pay attention to is your mother-in-law. Yeah, very important. There's an author, Ellen Bader, she runs a couples institute somewhere in the West, and she said something about whether your mother-in-law is outrageous or controlling. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you're nice to her, and that is so key. And one of the ways to actually just make sure that your mother-in-law is on your sweet side is asking your bride about, okay, what can we do to make your mom happy, to make her, throughout the duration of planning and wedding day, she's going to be excited. And that's a very smart thing to ask, and she's going to tell you what her mom likes. And please make sure that you allow her be herself and do what she wants to do. Make sure you take advice from her. All of those sweet things that will keep her happy that her daughter is getting married. It will also be very considerate of you. I mean, you'll be considered as one groom who is very intentional, who knows what it means to get married actually. And your, husband material credentials will be somewhere up there. Okay, so I had fun researching this topic and finding out things that works. Most times, in my part of the world, we always are a bit mother-in-law phobic. Like, you see people saying things about, be careful about your mother-in-law, be this. Please don't listen to them. You hear even weird things about, some girls saying they don't want to get married to a man whose mother is still alive. That's brash. That's BS as long as I'm concerned, right? And this, I think, should swing both ways. Even the girl should make sure that she's sweet to your mother. Okay, so you guys use your wedding to make your moms happy and your dad's happy as well, because I'm very, very gender equal prone, so I don't like the fact that dads are also left out in certain things. So yeah, both parents of your wife and both your parents, you guys must carry them along. Make sure that you do things that will help them. I remember during my wedding when my husband had to ask me certain things that my parents will love. In fact, at some point, because we were in two different regions of the country, he had to send money for me to buy certain things, gift items from him that I should give them and all that, because I was actually living with them at the time. And it made a lot of sense. I remember my father was just showing it up, even on the wedding day, so all the things my husband got him and all that. So it makes a lot of sense to make sure that you keep your mother-in-law and your father-in-law involved. Make sure that you consider their opinion and everything they want on that day as well. Okay, number 7. Please make sure that your vows are written now, like way ahead of time. Now that your mind is clear, plans are not choking it and all that, please write your wedding vows. Those vows are so important. Those are things that you can, in your marriage, go back to reading, that will bring you back to the foundation of your marriage. And this is so, so important, right? So even if you need help writing it and you want to say it and somebody needs to write it, make sure you go ahead and do it right now. Okay, it will really go a long way. You're gonna thank me later. And the next one is in connection to the other one. Please make sure that in your wedding vows, you are not afraid to be vulnerable. You're not afraid to be sentimental. Say it as you feel it. Say it as you know it. Say it as you want to create the effect that you want your bride to feel standing right there at the altar. Okay, yes, get everybody oohing and ahhing and say, oh my gosh, God, when? Go ahead and be you. Don't be too self-conscious to not want to write certain things and all that. Please say it as you mean it. You know why? It is something that is going to remain like a memorial in your home, something that your wife will treasure all the rest of her life. Trust me. Your vows will always be something that you can go through together. Your wife can always read through, and it just brings a newness to your marriage every time. Yeah, so don't be afraid to be vulnerable in writing your vows. Say it as you mean it. Like I said, don't be afraid to be sentimental. Be mushy if you want. Cry if you feel like, even though you can't write that in your vow, but if you're reading it and at some point you feel like crying, please cry. Anyhow, anything you want to do, you want to call somebody out, in a good way, you want to kneel down, you want to hug her, you want to, anything it is, please plan to do them and please do them, right? It's your moment under heaven. Please make it special, okay? One, number 9, make sure you have plans for the wedding night. Yes, don't let your wedding night become a nightmare. And let me even bust your bubble. Sometimes many people have said nothing went down on the wedding night because tiredness, all that. So yes, it's also okay to plan while you're planning for your wedding night. Plan for the 2 nights ahead. Okay, so you can decide that, okay, on the wedding night we're just gonna just chill, rest, and then get the mojo on the other night, which is really fine. But you know why it's good to plan it ahead, so that way you're not anxious for nothing. Nobody is feeling like, oh my God, I'm not meeting up. Why am I so tired? Why am I not meeting up? All that. So you plan it ahead. Many people shy away from these things, but I don't know why it should be like that. Please have these conversations now. All the difficult conversations. And if you haven't gotten my ready to choose a wife template, please, I have it in the description. Just tap the heading of the title of this video, and you're going to see all the links to all the resources you can get, especially the ready to choose your wife template. It's going to also give you so much more inkling into the things you need to pay attention to just before you get married. Make sure that you talk about consummation, whether it's night before or after or during the honeymoon. Don't shy away from it. And every other difficult question that is on your mind, that is lingering, that might come up, this is a good time to talk about them before the wedding. Trust me, okay? The final, but of course not the least point I want you to remember is that you have to remain excited throughout the process. Don't make it at some point look like, oh, this is overwhelming. I wish I wasn't doing this. I wish we do a simpler wedding. I wish. All your wishes, communicate them so you guys have a balance from day one, and your excitement will keep being steady, so it doesn't drop and drop, because it's going to affect your bride as well. Okay, and the energy you give off is the energy that your wedding day is going to also present. We are spirit beings, so whatever we project is what happens, right? And I know there are so many other things, but make sure you go download right now the Ready to Choose a Wife template, just right here in the description. And please drop a comment if any of this made sense to you and reminded you of certain things to do. And I wish you an amazing wedding day. And of course, I'm waiting for my invitation card. You know how we do it. You know how we do it. If you found the girl and you're already planning, please let me know in the comment section. Send my invitation, because we are family now. So don't keep anything away from any part of us in this community. We're so glad to make it colorful as much as you want it to be. Okay, so let me know what you think, and I'll come to you again in the next video. Happy married life.